Hello, good day, and welcome to today's Monday Live with Chioma Okoli. All right, I am excited to be here with me. And yes, can you see my shirt? It's the Royalty Conclave t-shirt. Okay, we are warming up eagerly to start the next set that is kicking off next month. All right. Okay, you're welcome to today's live. And yes, I am Chioma Okoli, your host. And today we are talking about a very interesting topic. In fact, I'm sure you've had like maybe on the minimum five of such mommy, why, or daddy, what, where, who, when, and all of that. And you don't even want to know how many of such questions I've had this holiday. Okay, so because the children are home, are going to spend more hours with us this holiday, we should expect more of those questions. Okay, so what does all of those questions signify? Why are our children asking those questions? Should we continue to be angry when the questions come? Do we go ahead and shut them up or just ignore them? What is the better way, or what's the better lens to view those questions from? And so in today's section we are looking at what's the implication of those questions and our response to them. Okay, so once again, I am Chioma Okoli and I'm the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy. You're welcome to today's Monday Live. I am super excited to have you here. All right. So let's go right into the conversation for today. But before we do so, how has the holiday been for you? I hope you've been able to put up some routines in what you're doing with your child. Like I said in last week's Monday Live, the essence of routines are to make things easy for you and for your child. And why we are talking about these routines from this holiday is so that school resumes, you there is already a foundation of what your child should expect, or what both you and your child should expect from each other. Okay, and you start running from them. It's the same brain your child is going to learn routines with at home that the child is going to use to learn academic work in school. And so what we do this holiday is very important. And aside making school preparation easy and seamless, it is also going to establish some brain connections as per what do I expect. If I don't do this, what's going to follow? What am I going to expect? What are my expectations from mommy or daddy in the morning? And then for you, the parents, you know what to expect from your child and you communicate it. Any day that there is for whatever reason your child fails to stick to their, at least you know what to say, you know where to start from, and you're not confused, you're not angry, because you know where to pick it up from. All right. And so, okay, as a way of introduction, every child is born with the innate desire to learn. Every child is born with the innate desire to learn, first by exploration of the environment, and secondly by asking questions. And as they go by, the two of them come into play. I'll take that again. Every child, the innate desire to learn, and they learn by exploration of their environment, and as they learn words, by asking questions, and as they grow older, a combination of both. So um your child who is let's say less than 1 year and is still breastfeeding, of course a child less than 1 year should still be breastfeeding. Okay, so Your child who is less than 1 year, you're breastfeeding him or her, and the child traps your nipples in between his gums. The child is not trying to test you, the child is not trying to harm you. The child is just exploring with this thing that is in his mouth and nothing more. It's not that the child is suddenly wicked or the child is suddenly, trying to try you out, right? No, the child is just learning to explore. You let the child, a crawling child, or from the age of 1 year and 8 months, and 6 months to, let's say, 4 the child sees a cup of water standing on the table. The child wants to put his hand inside the cup to see what it looks like, to just put the hand inside the cup. Or maybe the child now drags the cup off the table and it falls on the floor and breaks. The child didn't know it was going to break. The child didn't even intend to break the cup. They just wanted to know what will happen if I pull this cup from the table. And so the child is trying to learn by exploration. And so from 2 years and above, when the child starts speaking well and can ask you all of the W and H questions, it's because the child wants to learn more things. Or probably the child is trying to explore with something and you say no. The child will ask you why. The child is not asking you that why because he or she is trying to undermine your authority or is trying to challenge your authority. The child is just asking the why question because the child wants to understand why the hell do you not want me to explore? Like, if I explore this, I will learn. But we are not seeing it that way. So they are now asking all of the questions they are asking. And hey, can the questions be annoying? Yes. In fact, yesterday, was it yesterday? No, yes, yesterday, we're making stew in the evening. Okay, so I'm one of those that don't rush into the kitchen when we come back from church on Sundays. Yeah. So we'll come back from church on Sundays and we are hungry and want to eat. We eat what we already have. Okay. And then everybody take your time, go and chill, do whatever you want to do, plan your week ahead and all of that. And then in the evening, and sometimes in the night, we start cooking our rice or whatever food we want to cook. Yes, for me, at the stage where I am, I have 3 children. The oldest is will be 5 in August. So in the space where I am, I need to prioritize what is most important to me. And on my Sundays are days where I plan a lot. I review things that has happened in the passing week. And I sit down to ask myself, how do I do this better going forward? And Sundays are usually the days when I do that. I start it early in the morning before children wakes up, before we start preparing for church. And then I do the finishing when we come back from church. So if you are a parent who, you know, your Sunday mornings are always charged from get ready for church, do this and do that, and then you come back from church, you enter the kitchen to make food, you're hungry, the children are hungry, everybody's pulling on you and all of that. You may need to change it just like we did in my house. And the fact that your first meal in the morning or in the afternoon, wherever you could take your first meal, the fact that it is not rice doesn't make it less a meal and it doesn't make it less filling. Okay, that was a distraction. Now, I was trying to say that yesterday when I was making food in the kitchen, right? My son, we have a container for salt, and he knows that container is for salt and nothing else. He saw me bringing salt out from the kitchen cabinet and putting salt inside the food, and he was like, "What are you putting? What are you putting?" I showed him the container as well, saying, "You already know it, so why are you asking again?" I said, "You say it's salt." And then the next question was, "Is it salt?" I'm like, do I just have to talk? And at that point, I knew the answer was yes. I had to say, yes, it is salt. And then you pour in the next thing. He knows what it is and he's asking you, is it tomato? Is it vegetable? and all of that. But then I understand that beyond um these questions that seem irrelevant or seem disturbing or annoying, I know that he's trying to understand something. But every time your child asks those kind of questions, three things are going on. They want to um your child is trying to learn, okay, maybe things that are happening for the first, or especially the questions that are being asked the first time, or maybe things they are coming in contact with newly. So they are trying to learn what's going on or how something works or functions. The next thing is to reinforce. They're trying to reinforce. Okay, I used to know that it is salt that is in this container. Is it still salt or has it changed? So they're trying to reinforce something they already know, something they had in the past. Then the third one is they're trying to confirm. Reinforcement and confirming, they are different things. I mean, reinforcement and confirmation are different things. In confirmation, it means you knew this. So the salt instance was a confirmation question. Okay, so I know this thing used to be salt. I know I know it's salt that I put, but I just want to confirm. So the child is trying to ascertain if what he or she already knows is still it. In reinforcement, the child is trying to know, okay, the way this thing is done, is it still the same way? Okay, we put salt in the food when we are still cooking. Okay, so that's what you did. Oh, I already know that. Reinforcement. So for each time your child asks you questions, it's either they're trying to learn something, they're trying to reinforce what they already know, and they're trying to confirm something that they've seen before, or something that you've answered them before, or something you've told them before. They just want to reinforce the facts of what you've told them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong in any of these threes. Absolutely nothing. It's more that we asked our own questions growing up. We're made to see that, or we're made to feel stupid for asking the questions. And so growing up, you can ask person just an innocent question. Somebody will say, "Oh, you go Maccabi what?" And how many of you? How many of you were? How many of you received those songs in response to innocent questions you asked? Or they just say Ojugo, or some other funny names that they give it. And that actually made many of us to lose interest in asking questions. Yes. Well, we'll go into details about that when we talk about three things, I mean, five things you should never do in the face of this sort of questioning. So what does the question signifies? This questioning, what do they signify? We are going to look at five things. Number one, it signifies a willingness to learn. When your child asks you those questions, it signifies a willingness to learn. It doesn't matter if you're not perceiving the willingness. Doesn't matter if you feel this child don't know what he or she is doing. It's the child's willingness to learn. That's why they are asking the question. And it's something to be proud of as a parent, as a teacher, because what I talk about also happen in schools, in classrooms. So one time somebody was flogged for doing something somewhere, and my child was asking me, why is this person flogging this person? Why is this person flogging this person? I was not present there, but he had to come back and tell me the story. So I'm now the one having to answer questions for an action that I didn't take part in. And it was a moment of both connection and clarifying values, and that you don't beat people because people are not animals. Okay. So imagine I said, I beg you, don't go and ask the person. Didn't you see when the person was beating the other person? Why didn't you go and ask her? It doesn't make sense. He waited to come home to ask me because he believed I was going to answer him. He believed that the things that are the confusion, yes, that's the next thing. Confusion. The confusion in him or the conflict that what he knows and what he's seen another adult do to a child. He knows that if I ask mommy, mom is going to clarify it. And imagine your child trusting you that much only to come to you and you mess the trust up. I mean, come on, it's not something we want to do. So please start developing your patience muscles, your humility muscles when your children ask you questions that you feel you've answered before or that you know you've answered before. Okay. All right. So the next thing is a confusion. In my home, we don't flog the children, and they know that. So you can do anything you want to do, or you can do the things, you can make all the mistakes, you can um you can make your mistakes and still come clean because you know nobody's going to beat you. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a huge trust that you're teaching your child on you and every other person in the home front. All right. And this is why I love schools that actually have bought this idea of not flogging children for misbehavior. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. All right. So when there is a confusion between what a child already knows and what the child is saying, the child is asking you questions to clarify that. Okay. And for every confusion that is not cleared, don't think the question disappears. For every confusion your child has that you fail to clarify, right? That confusion does not just disappear, it's lurking somewhere. And the child will either keep asking other people or keep looking for answers to that question. And you don't know who that answer will come, how it will come. And you will not be happy with yourself, right? That an answer you could have given and prevented something. You were angry because the child was asking you questions, failed to answer it, and someone else answered it. Or something now goes wrong because your child doesn't know the answer to that question. A question you could have answered. Okay, so confusion, when your child is confused, they will ask you questions and please answer the questions. Okay, then another thing is to understand a pattern. To understand a pattern. So in my house, we have a set of routines. If you've listened to me, if you've watched our other videos, you would have known some of these routines. So number one of the routines, our morning routines during this holiday is that you wake up in the morning, you either say your morning declaration. Okay, you wake up in the morning, tidy your bed, say your morning declaration, or you come to my room, greet me, and then we say it together. You go to the toilet if you want to, brush your teeth, go drink water, and then other things follow. So sometimes my son comes to my room and he's like, I just want to lie on your I just want to lie on your bed, mommy. And I'm like, okay. You've tidied your bed, yes. Have you said the morning declaration? We just said it in my room. Okay, so what's the next thing? He will say, go to the toilet. Say, all right. Then he will say, after going to the toilet, he's now the one asking me. So we are now doing question question competition. He will now say, and after going to the toilet, I say, you wash your hands. You clean your bum bum and wash your hands. And you say, after clean my bum and washing my hands, you go and brush your teeth. Then after that, what? So The child is trying to a kind of understand the pattern. Okay, so after this is this, after this is this, after this is this. And it doesn't matter that we've done it the previous holidays and we are doing it now. Don't be in that space where you're like, but we've been doing this before. The child is asking before because the child still wants to know. Is it your knowing? Is it your knowing? Simply answer the child. Simply answer the question and move on. Move on to next things. I mean, if you like, spend an entire hour trying to drag it with your child or, ignoring your child and the child screaming and all of that. Now your peace where the child they interrupt, no be any other person. So why not just, kukuma settle that one and move on. Okay. So the next reason why your child is asking you questions is to be able to stack previous knowledge or information on a new one. To be able to stack previous knowledge or information on a new one. So um my husband's birthday was in February. Yes, February. So we the children presented his birthday gift to him and we did our mini home choir of singing happy birthday and other things. We designed some prayer stickers that we had to paste on the gift and all of that. And ever since then, um, at intervals, my son will make something and call it birthday gift. And you say, Mommy, see your birthday gift. Or sometimes they are saving money and I'm like, okay, they want to spend money on something. I'm like, why don't you keep this money so that you use it and buy birthday gifts for so and so of your friends? And he will be asking me questions if the birthday gift is going to be the birthday gifts they presented to their father and all of that and all of that. So they're trying to connect giving someone else birthday gifts and the one they gave to their father. Is it going to be the same gift? Are they going to go to the market? Are they going to be the one to go to the market to buy it? Are they going to design it and all of that and all of that? So they're trying to stack the new information about don't spend don't instead of using the money to do this, why not save it so that I use it and buy birthday gifts for ABC? All right. So and it can also happen with your child. Something you're saying for the first time, the child is trying to kind of match them with what they already know, with something you've said or something they've heard in the past. Then the next thing is heard when they hear something strange. So last week I went to the barbing salon to cut my hair and I went along with my oldest two. So my son also had his hair, I also had a haircut when I finished. And in the process, the barber said when Baba finished cutting his hair, the barber said, "Boy, I love you. You didn't disturb when I was cutting your hair." My son was quiet. I honestly didn't make much meaning out of it. Yes, I didn't. Is it not just he okay? For all I care, he was saying the I love you because my son didn't disturb and all of that. But I didn't know my son held on to it. And when we left on our way home, he was like, Mommy, that Baba said he loves me. I looked at his face and I knew it was coming from the place of confusion or because of something strange he's hearing. I understand telling a child I love you is not common. In fact, saying I love you is not common in our environment for many persons, even married couples. Yes. So my son had gotten used to being told I love you in the home, but it was strange for him for somebody else to say I love you outside. And I quickly understood that. I quickly knew where that his question was coming from. I'm like, okay, so um, what do you think? Why did he say that he loves you? And he went to say, he said that I didn't disturb when he was bobbing my head. I said, correct. That's it. It's because you did not disturb when you were bobbing his head. So he said, yeah, I love you because he loved it that you did not disturb when he was bobbing your head. I said, oh, okay, okay. I'm a big boy. I don't disturb when they are cutting my hair. I said, yes. You're a big boy, my son, and you're smart too. What if I had said, don't disturb me? Right in his head, he'd be like, should that boy tell me I love you? Why did he tell me I love you? I don't love that, I don't love that. And if you don't answer these children's questions, they are making impressions in their head. And the day somebody else we tell them something that looks like an answer, eh? You've lost the law of first mention. Shebi, you've lost your chance of being the first person to mention that thing to the child and setting the path to what they should agree on as far as that topic or that discourse is concerned. So, dear parents, please start talking, start answering questions. Start answering questions. Like I said, are these questions annoying? Very annoying. Especially when you've answered the question several times and you feel the child should have understood. Or when you know that this child knows why, but he's just asking me why. So what are you going to do? But before we go there are three things you must never do, please, when your child is asking those questions. Number one is shutting the child up. Mm-mm. Don't ever. Like, it's a command. I'm giving it as a command. Don't you ever. Sorry if that sounds harsh, but it has to come as a command. Don't you shut a child up when they're asking these questions. Were you shut up growing up? How do you feel? Many of us will find ourselves in a group. Most parents in the breathe and relax of the boot camp. I'm coming for you people now. But I know it's not only you. The other people that are guilty. So I understand with you people. But after listening to this, try and change small. Many of us will find ourselves in groups that are discussing things that are actually about us or things that we're actually learning from. But we won't say anything. We won't respond to questions. We won't give feedback. We won't talk about what it is that we've gained from the discussion or whatever. Why? We don't just feel like there is this inertia or classic and answer. Let's wait for another person to do it. It must not come from me. Why must it not come from me? What if it comes from me and comes from another? What if it comes from everybody? Do you not know that the Bible said that in the multitude of counsel, we know this is not counsel, but in the multitude of people who are learning the same thing together, that are sharing their experience, we are all enriched in the process. So many of us growing up, we were shut up. Like me, personally, they called me Okoro. If you're from Musuka, you know what I'm talking about. Didn't they call you Okoros, especially the ladies? You want to take and they say, Okoro, like, get you away from here, or shut you up. And then in secondary schools, they started telling us that ladies are seen, they are not heard. It is okay to ask a class that is a group of students that are making noise to stop making noise. It's okay. But don't tell them ladies are to be seen, not heard. Who said that? Who said that? Well, I was said that too. But then I've had to come out of that box that I was put into. And you should also do that. And even more importantly, please don't put your children into such a box. Allow them to express themselves, for crying out loud. Allow them to talk. Then after shutting them and stunting their questioning or inquisitive nature, then one day something will happen. You're not telling the person, why didn't you ask? When they were asking you, did you answer? When they were asking you, you shut the child up. And then you're like, why didn't you ask? Or some people will even be shouting at it, why didn't you ask? And I mean, come on now. You're confusing yourself. You're confusing the child. You're contradicting yourself. And it's difficult for the child to know which one exactly is mommy or daddy talking about. What do they exactly want from me? You don't want to put your child in that situation where they cannot make a match of what you say and what you expect of them. The next thing is to ignore the child. Yeah. Many of us were ignored, and so ignoring our children is like a default. Like by default, I was ignored, saw others being ignored, others ignored others, so I'll ignore you when you ask me. But remember that um the path that the multitude travels is actually not the path that leads to life, right? Even the scriptures say it. So please don't do things because that's what every other person is doing. If you've listened to me in the past, you remember I've said it before. Please do not travel the path that every other person is traveling. I mean, what's the fun there? Everybody is doing the same thing, you're also doing it. Come on, add some flavor. Not just about adding flavor. Your path and other people's paths are always not the same, especially when the values are not in line. So if you value parenting the right way, if you value parenting intentionally, you should only follow the path that other intentional parents are following, not the path that the crowd are following. Like you say in the royalty conclave, the path of the royalties, the path to royalty is different from the path to being a commoner. So you should know where you belong. Do you want to raise royals? Or you want to raise commoners? Do you want to raise people who make things happen? Do you want to raise people who rule their kingdoms and understands that the fate of the people they lead lies in the choices that they make. The difference in the pathways are in your understanding of what you're doing and where you're going and how you should get there. So please do not ignore your child. Answer the damn question and answer it well. Okay, so the third thing is don't make jest of the child's curiosity. Don't make jest of the child's curiosity. You know why we have a generation of adults. Wait, in Igbo we say ị ga-anọ na mmiri ncha baa gị anya. You know why that question comes? Because ncha, washing off soap, the only thing you need to wash off soap is water, and you're aware there is water, and you're still allowing the ncha to bag in anya. Why, Kwan? Eh? We have a generation of adults who will be in trouble, but they are not asking questions. They won't ask questions, they won't ask for help. Why? The root cause is from this period. That age from 2 to 5 or 6, when the child is trying to make sense of a lot of things, when the child is trying to understand a lot of things, and the child will ask you questions, you ignore the child. You know the memo the brain lays hold of. Don't ask these people questions. Don't ask anybody questions. Just figure it out. And the process of figuring it out, a lot of things can go wrong. And these things that are going wrong are things you should have prevented from going wrong. So please do not make jest of their curiosity. You're you're killing something, your child, when you do so. All right. So what are the boundaries? I understand that these questions can be annoying, like I said, but sometimes they can be overwhelming too. So what are the boundaries you need to put in place? I call them the 4R formula or 4R frameworks that you can put into place to create boundaries in the questions your child asks. Number one is the nonverbal responses. So when your child is asking you something that is more or less a confirmation, like when my son was asking, is that salt you want to put? I showed you the container. I didn't say anything, but showing the container is means take a look and confirm for yourself. Sometimes it could just be a child is asking you something. You can use non-verbal responses to respond and still go on with what you're doing. The next one is redirect. Um, when you're sure you've talked about this in the past and you expect that your child should understand or should have known this by now. So when the questions comes, instead of flaring up and ignoring the child or making jest of the child, you could just say, do you remember what I told you last time? Do you remember what I told you last time? Okay, no, that's about reminding. But in redirect, you're actually redirecting the child's focus to something else or the child's attention to something else to point to something that's already been established. So you can say things like, when you wanted to, or the last time we fried egg, do you remember what you you took out from this container? Yes, what was that? Salt. Okay. So you didn't want to show the salt container like I did. You could just say, okay, last time when we were cooking and you did something, you put something, where yes, what was those things? I put salt. So where did you get the salt from? So you're redirecting the conversation to something the child already knows. Okay, so the next boundary you can bring around it is to reschedule the question. So this exactly should come in where when the child is asking a question that can be answered later, or questions that are trying to answer them in the meantime is going to be a distraction. For instance, you're in the church and your child comes to ask you about something, or your child starts asking you about something, or maybe you're praying and the child is asking you something. You can redirect the question to, you can reschedule the question to some other time. Say, please let's talk about this on our way home, or let's talk about this when we finish praying, or maybe during the night time when they are supposed during the night routines or close to the time when they are supposed to sleep. Wait, let me, as a warning or as a pre-information, not a warning, a pre-information. If you're starting your children on things like sleep routines, initially you get to the point where you've done every other thing. It's now for them to sleep. They will be asking you all of the questions they can remember just to prolong the sleep when they should start sleeping. So when that starts, reschedule the questions. Tell them when you wake up in the morning, we'll talk about it. Or when, yes, when you wake up in the morning and we'll finish breakfast, we'll talk about it or something like that. Okay. The other one is remind. So when the child asks a question that you know the child should know, you can say things like, do you remember the last time we talked about this? What did I tell you? So this should take care of how the boundaries you should bring in, or somebody might want to ask, do I should I continue answering the questions when I know they know the answer? This answers it, right? I hope so. So um all of your child's where question is actually where, WHARE, is trying to establish the place of things. The place of things. Maybe something you've asked them to go and bring, or they are looking for something. But when they ask the where questions, please ask them, please answer them. Or maybe the question is coming because they didn't put something where they were supposed to put it. It's an opportunity for you to reinforce the fact that when you finish using something, you should put it back where you should, so that next time when you need it, you can find it easily. And the second when question, the child is trying to understand the routine. When do we eat? When do we take our baths? When do we play outside? When do we watch the television? When the child is trying to um get used to the routine. And there's nothing wrong in you answering these questions to help your child get used to the routines. Then the why questions are asking for reasons behind what is happening. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, why do we sleep at 8? Why do we brush our teeth before we go to bed? Why Why do we brush our teeth before after eating and not before eating? These are the why questions the child is trying to establish the reasons. A child who understands the why of the things he or she does is most likely going to continue doing that thing even without being reminded, because the child already understands that I have to do this for so and so reason. Then the next one is the who question. The who question is trying to understand the person of the other person, or the essence of the other person, or the role, the position of the other person. And you should answer the questions. Should answer the questions. Okay, so this is where we'll come to the end of today's Monday life on why are my children, or why is my child asking too many questions, exploring um, the young mind. Okay, so this is where we'll come to the end of it, and I hope you learned one or two that you're going to work with going forward. I don't want anybody that watches this clip up to this point, right, to go back to your children and they ask you a question, or a young child asks you a question, and you're ignoring the child, or you're yelling, or you're telling the child things like "Ijiti shoke, ijirinti ame again." You used to say that. You stop it. Thank you. Mhm. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for coming on this live with me. Okay, so about the Royalty Conclave, I've mentioned it in the past. In the Royalty Conclave is a gathering of parents with children between the ages of 0 to 6 who are committed to laying the foundations, one block per day, in raising the children who will rule their kingdom in the way of royalty. Okay, so if you are interested in this royalty conclave, I'm going to drop the link in the comment section. You read more about it um, on the seller store and choose to choose if you want to be a part of us or not. All right, but then please ensure that whatever you've learned from this video today, you're going to start making use of it immediately. And if you like this video and you're yet to subscribe, please do subscribe. These are the kind of gist we bring about every day. So the Expectant Parent Academy is a coaching outfit for parents from expectancy to the first 6 years. So most of the things we're doing this year borders on those with children within the ages of 0 to 6. The expectancy period, of course, the months to come, we'll start talking about that and all of that. But for now, we are talking about the Expectant Parent Academy. In this channel, we'll talk about parenting from pregnancy to the first 6 years, doing so intentionally so that you're not overwhelmed, you are not ignorant, you are not afraid, you are certain of where you're going and how to get there. And if you're interested and you like it, stay right here with me. And do not forget to share this video, recommend this channel to someone who wants to take a look at what it is we are doing here. The channel name on YouTube, this channel will come up. And hey, I know, breathe, relax, holiday, but please let me see our comments.